Hey guys, we're back. This time we're going to be taking a look at the monster that is Gloomhaven proper, the full big box version. And you don't really get an idea of how big this thing is until you see it in person and actually lift it up. It is a monster of a box. I think it's 22 pounds. And is the reason why it costs a fortune to ship this thing nowadays. But we're going to get in, unbox everything, take a look at how it's all in here to start, and eventually I'll be doing a follow-up video with a review. I have played it before. I've just now got my own copy, which is awesome. And the hopes of Crimson Scales coming soon. So we'll be doing stuff on that too. The one thing I will say right off the bat though is I'm not fond of the way this is packaged in that there's no shrink wrap. For some reason they went with these little stickers that go on the corners. There's one on each of the straight edges of the box. Thankfully they come off pretty good. They don't damage the material or anything. But being that it's not packaged up, I don't know if can't really see it on camera, but especially the bottom edge, these sides get scratched. You can see a couple dents over here, but the box gets beat to hell because there's no protection on it. And this one even has like a bulge right here. It kind of bows inward. I think there's one on the top too, yeah, where the side here bows in. It's just such a massive and heavy thing to ship in a cardboard box. And it's a little disappointing that, especially for the price of the game, they don't have at least shrink wrap on here. Like you can see, this whole corner is peeling already. So I'm probably going to have to put tape on that on a brand new game. But that said, we're going to start opening this up and see what's in here. And the box is very unwieldy to get open too, because you can't get your fingers in here. There we go. So, monster of a lid. Put that aside. And on the top here, we have a thing for the foreteller narration of Gloomhaven. I have this for Jaws of the Lion, and I have it for Midara. The Midara one was done by the company itself, Succubus Publishing, so that one really doesn't count. But the Jaws of the Lion one is amazing. They add voice actors, ambient sound, and things to act out the story parts. And so you don't have to read it to a group of people at the table. You just play this audio, and I think it's an amazing thing. I'm definitely picking it up for this, and I would never play a game that has that option without it. I think it adds a lot to it. But then there's a box organizer. Not going to go for that because I'm probably going to 3D print my own. I know I'm going to regret it, but we'll see how that turns out. I do have the broken token insert for Jaws of the Lion, but it was given to me for a review. I didn't actually buy that one. If they want to give me one for this, I'll give it a try. Next up here we have our rule book. And I'm doing these backwards. Well, I'm doing these in the order that you should learn to play, I think. Originally, this came out first. And this massive rule book was a big read for people. I think it's, where's their page number on the back here? 51, 52 pages. And it's very rules heavy in here to go through and learn. If you play Jaws of the Lion first, it has a much easier to understand tutorial and intro into the game. And they broke theirs up in a weird way, though, that there is no actual rule book. They have a reference book and then the how to play. And you've got to keep referencing both of them, and it's kind of a weird thing. So I like having an all-in-one rule book, though I do agree that this should have had a more user-friendly, like an intro thing. But Jaws of the Lion exists out there. Definitely try that first. And you get into the game much easier that way, but I have not actually read through these yet. I know there's some differences in this. Like I said, I've played it before, but I will have to refresh myself on the rules in Gloomhaven. Because it's so much and so complicated, I know that there are some discrepancies and missing information in here and things. There's a huge section on the BGG forums of people asking rules questions, and it continues to this date. So because of how heavy the game is, there is a lot of issues in there with that, but it's kind of to be expected. So know what you're getting into, and like I said, definitely check out Jaws of the Lion first. It's a much easier way to get into that. Next, what is this book here? This is going to be our scenario book, and I don't think the first scenario is a spoiler, so I'm not going to be too worried about that, but I will not flip through that because I don't want to give any spoilers away. But that's going to tell you how to set up your different scenarios and what each are as you go through the campaign. We're going to slide this over without moving the whole tablecloth. So yeah, we have our campaign book, we have our rule book, we have our little advertisement flyer there. Oh, this gets bent. We have a town record book here, and that's sealed with a sticker, so we're not going to open that yet. I try not to do any spoilers, even though the game's been out for years. People are huge about spoilers in this game. So this is the board, if I remember. Yep, it's literally just a giant map, and it's upside down. This shows the area where everything takes place, and then a zoomed in version of the town of Gloomhaven over there, or city, I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, there's Gloomhaven actually right there, and then it's the zoomed in version of it there, so that's kind of neat. And throughout the course of the game, there's stickers that go on this board that basically open up new quests and campaigns. They have a removable sticker sheet. I don't think we're going to bother with it on ours because it's not that much of a spoiler to me to know where things are. I mean, they already have numbers on the board, so you know that there's something at these locations. You just don't know what yet. So not that big of a deal to me, but I know some people do care. And it is a huge deal to them. They do have a removable sticker set, so you can reuse. And these are the stickers right here. So throughout the course of the game, different things are going to tell you when and where to put these on the map to unlock different scenarios and things. And again, as I was saying, they have a removable set of these so that things can be peeled back off afterward to reset the game when you're done. And then these are banners that go on the top as you unlock different things to signify different achievements and things that you've unlocked throughout the course of the game. I don't know if any of those are going to be a spoiler, but I mean, they're not covered or anything in the book or in the actual set here. Like the decks of cards actually have a thing that says spoiler, don't open this. So they're not marked that way, so we're going to assume they're not. And then in here we have a massive amount of token sheets. We're going to move the whole box over here just so I can get to those. But this is a chunk of tokens. So a lot of these are board pieces too. So we have some wound markers here. I'm not sure what these ones are. Not familiar with those ones. We have different board tiles here. Some coins. Some of our monsters. Around the edges there. I'm going to set these off in the back here, I think. There is an absolute ton of these, though. There's some more. It looks like all the same kind of stuff. More monsters. I think those are even the same monsters, just higher numbers on them because they're all numbered depending on how many there are. Some more room tiles. I think, yeah, the room tiles are double-sided too. So they can build different dungeons layouts. Then we have a bunch of status tokens. Some more room tiles. Looks like some coins. Summoning tiles there. I think that's what these are. And again, double-sided rooms. That's probably going to be the biggest change between this and Jaws of the Lion. Jaws of the Lion had a spiral book like this, and you folded it out, and the maps were literally in the book. The drawback is that it limited the size of your rooms to basically 2 pages in the book. They had a third book that could add on that was a supplement or something, and add it on to, so you could get basically 3 pages to make your dungeons out of. Where in this, because they're made out of those tiles, they can be pretty much as big as they want. And you have these hallway tiles, these room type tiles. We got some more monsters there, some more status tile or tokens. There is a ton of these, some big rooms, and then a ton more. They're all upside down, but a ton more monsters there. Whole bunch more monsters, bandits, More coins. A couple more big rooms. There's just an absolute massive amount of tokens in this game that need to be sorted and bagged, and I really hope there's bags in here. We'll have to see. But that's a cool looking room too. Bunch more here. Another one of those V-shaped rooms. That means tells me that sometime you're going to have campaigns that branch off or either come back together or branch off into two different ways. There's some placeholder tokens here that aren't needed. That's some extra room on the sheet, I guess. We got more monsters. Some cool looking stuff in there. Now the element board, they had this in Jaws of the Lion and I replaced it, and I'm probably going to use that one in this too. I have a 3D printed board that has the inner waning and strong things, as well as all the different elements laid out, but it has acrylic 3D tokens that slide back and forth, and I just think that's a cool addition, so I'm definitely going to be using that over top of the tile there. Bunch more monsters. I know this is already going on quite a while because there's a lot in here, so I'm going to start speeding these up because there's still several of these to go through. One more big room there. Those look like some terrain tiles here. More terrain type stuff. We used a lot of 3D printed stuff to represent those. Again, in Jaws of the Lion, you didn't really have these tokens because on the map, they were printed right on the map. Because you're reusing these tiles for various things, it adds to the setup because you're going to have to set up these little things on the map each time. So keep that in mind. A good insert will help with setup and teardown. More of everything there. What's on the back side of this? Those are treasure chests there. Some wall sections, traps. All sorts of nifty stuff. Got another, I think this is a very similar setup here. More treasure chests. More traps. Winding down here, only a few left. But as you can see, absolute monstrous amount of cardboard to keep track of. We're definitely going to be printing trays to store all of this goodness. And I've seen a couple great ones out there. I already had a couple picked out. Should have started printing them ahead of time because I knew this was coming. Again, getting my own copy here was a looking forward to Crimson Scales coming out, so I finally got my own copy so I could take advantage of Crimson Scales when it comes out. Right, we'll put those off to the side there. Now we'll get back to our box. Bonk as I hit the camera. And in the box we do have some foam filler just to space things out. This looks like it's seen better days. I hope these are in good shape. Looks like these got shuffled out at one point. They seem to be okay. But these are, well, there is the one in the middle is bent pretty bad, but thankfully they're not too bad. They're still usable. These are your hit point and experience point trackers for each of your players. I also have a set of these from Jaws of the Lion, so if they were damaged, it's not that big of a deal. There's also apps and everything else that take care of this. There's some really cool custom fan-made ones of those you can get. So, not a big deal. Again, another foam insert. See, they were supposed to go in there, and you can see up here how they were not sitting in there. And we're going to go into, what is this? Some sealed envelopes. We do have the infamous envelope X. I thought they stopped putting that in the game, so that's interesting. Then we have sealed envelope A and B. and X. Put those there. We have something that tells you, translates their language. That's kind of interesting. It's almost like a runic. Very interesting. I'm sure that will come in handy at some point. I will keep an eye on that. These are the enhancement stickers. So I'm still not set on these. This is probably the only real legacy aspect of the game. And I'm not sure if I like it or not. But you can enhance your cards, and these little stickers will actually go on spots on the cards. And I'm debating whether to put these directly on the cards like you're supposed to, or to put them on card sleeves. But then if anything happens to the sleeve, it kind of sucks. But not positive on that. But these are, like I said, the only real legacy aspect of the game I'm not sure of. But it allows you to basically upgrade your cards, and then the next time you play a character, you can have access to those upgraded cards, which is kind of neat. But I don't know, I may put them permanently on the cards. Who knows? I don't plan on getting rid of this game. That's one of them. It's going to take years to play through everything anyway. And with all the new content coming, I see us hanging on to this for quite a while. So we have some party sheets. There are not very many in here. They're kind of skimpy on those. But again, how many people actually play through the campaign multiple times? I know I'm a sicko. I will. Then we got some more foam inserts here, just spacers. You can't even see half this because it's off camera. Slide forward. There we go. So these are all your different playable characters. I believe, I don't know if they're in order. It looks like they might be. Because, yeah, these 6 are available from the start. And then the rest of these are unlocked throughout different things in the campaign. I love how they did. Each character has its own little tray here. And I'm trying to remember. It's no spoilers on the first 6 because they're unlocked anyway. So that's the Brute, I think. That's the Tinker, Spellweaver, Scoundrel, Craigheart, and the Mind Thief. We're going to open up Craigheart's here because he's my favorite of the starting characters. And again, no spoilers in this because this is an unlocked character from the start. I will not open any of those ones because those are all locked, and I believe they're actually taped shut. So those are only to be unlocked when you get to the stuff. I don't want to ruin anything for anyone. So inside the box here, for each character, you're going to have yourself a combat deck, which is a deck of cards. Basically, there's no die rolls in this game. All your attacks automatically hit, and then these cards are going to be drawn to see what happens as a result of that hit. And you've got +1 damage, -2 damage, +2 damage. There's also status effects on here. Knockback. So yeah. Those are unique to each of the characters, and they actually have the character symbols on there. So in every box, there's going to be a set of those unique to your character. What else do we have in here? We have character tokens that are used for various things throughout the game. Your player deck, and I'm not going to open these up because there are some spoilers in there for higher level cards, but each character has its own deck. You're going to start out with a certain amount of cards, and you add more to it as you level up. And the whole point of the game is you play 2 cards. You have the top half of one, the bottom half of another, or what you use. You pick one of your 2 cards. We'll have an initiative. Well, they all have initiative here, but one of the 2 cards, you're going to choose that number. That's the number you're going to go on in the initiative order. And you're not allowed to actually say this number or what you're doing, but you kind of give people an estimate. Oh, I'm going pretty quick, I'm going pretty slow, and you try to work with your team to build a battle plan based around that without giving away too much information. And then some stay in play, some go away. The ones with the X here are burnt at the end, so they go away and they're gone. Otherwise, they go to a discard pile. Eventually, you pick your discard pile back up when you rest. And based on the number up here is how many cards you can have in your hand. So throughout the game, you can keep adding more and more to this. And you got to keep in mind that, at least with him, you're only going to be allowed to have 11 cards at a time. So it's a card management thing. each round when you rest, you're going to lose a card, or if you use one with the X on here, eventually it'll get lost, and you don't get those ones back. So that number, that 11, dwindles down pretty quick, and that's different for each character too. And if you run out of cards, you're eliminated from the scenario. So you got to keep that in mind. Yeah, the player boards, these are considerably different than they were in Jaws of the Lion, which I keep saying that, but this actually came first, so those are the ones that are different. But you have some basic turn phase, how to plays on here, your hit points and experience down here, so you can keep track. So when you're level 1, you're going to have 10 hit points. Level 2, you're going to have 12. Condition markers go on here, so if you're poisoned or anything like that, will go there. And then on the back, they have a cool little lore background about your character. And then each one of these will come with a small pad of character-specific sheet for you. And these are different things that you can unlock throughout the course of the campaign. Keep track of your levels on here, your XP, gold that you've gotten, items that you've picked up. These are your battle objectives. We'll give you these little perk points which you check off, and you can pick and choose which ones you want in here to build the character the way you want, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, you get these down here for every 3 of those. You get to add a check up here. Those are for the battle objectives. They give you the perk points after every 3. But every character is going to have that same kind of content in these little boxes. See if I can get it back in there. The one problem I had with these boxes is that once you sleeve the cards, they do not necessarily fit back in there. And we had to come up with some interesting things. I think they just fit when they're actually sleeved, but there we go. So we have our, I'm going to set these aside, put those upside down. The 6 base races that you start with here, so we're going to put them there, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 unlockable races. So tons of variety there. And then there's Forgotten Circles, which is an expansion which adds a new race and a small campaign. Of course, Crimson Scales, which is coming out, is a fan-made one, but it's up to the same quality of this. It adds another, I think, 11, maybe 14 characters, because I know they added some extras. And then there's an add-on on top of that that adds another 5 characters, I think. So it's crazy the amount of variety you get. Down here in the bottom, looks like they do have a plastic tray down here. So that's kind of nice. Over here we have all of our miniatures. Again, they're locked. We're going to open, where's Craigheart? We went through all his stuff. We'll open him up. There's Craigheart. And again, I think the other ones are sealed. The actual sealed characters, but they should be. So I'm not going to open any of them anyway. And the first one here is Craigheart the Miniatures. Kind of cool. I know some people have painted these and done some amazing things with them. They are far more talented than I. Maybe I'll get my wife to paint them at some point. Maybe as we unlock guys or something. But yeah, so we have miniatures to go with all of those that match up with the symbols. Again, you're going to match the symbol on the box here with the symbol of characters that you unlock throughout the campaign. So that's kind of neat. What else we got down here? I'm going to flip this around. Let's see the other stuff here. We have got, this is actually a decent insert for what it is. However, you're going to have a ton of cardboard cut out, all those tokens, and you have this, I can't see because it's off. You have this tray here to put stuff in, which will probably be map tile type stuff, and this one over here for tokens. But I see no baggies or ways to separate anything, so that's a shame. I kind of expected that, though. I'm not sure what these are. I'll open these up. Doesn't say not to, so I'm going to open it. That's the way I look at it. I know there is some locked content that we're not supposed to open and go through, and I will not be opening those. On here, let's see, we got some player reference cards. So we have the different icons and status elements on that side. More on the back. So there you go. Just go through the different status elements for people. I have no idea what these are. I will have to do more research into these. Because yeah, I don't know what those cards are. And I don't want to give anything away I'm not supposed to, so I will do more research into that before I go through those. We have our city event deck. These are kind of cool. I think there's a regular event. Nope, there's a separate deck for those. So the city events, I don't want to put it on there too much. Not that you can't read it, but basically when you're traveling throughout the city, these little events are going to happen. They come down, they have a multiple choice type thing, and then on the back of them, which this obviously doesn't apply to that, but there's different outcomes based on what you chose. You go with a party consensus, basically. So if 2, 3 people say A, one person says B, you're going to go with A. And then you go on the back and you read the result of that. And they could be positive aspects, they could be negative aspects. You never know. It all depends on what's going on. The theme of the party might be more evil-oriented. You might do some more mean things. You might have some really nice party members who want to do good. And it all depends on how that's going to turn out. It's kind of random. And we have road events. These are a little more random in my experience. Sometimes you think you're doing the right thing and it turns out to be a bad thing. Sometimes you think you're doing a bad thing and it turns out to be the right choice. So they're kind of strange. But same thing with the city ones. When you're out on the road in the countryside, you're going to draw these basically in between adventures and little things happen. And again, you come down, you have 2 options down here on the back. You're going to have results based on the option you pick and what your results are. And they're pretty cool. You basically go through them all. Well, you're not even going to go through them all, but you go through as you do them. You put them away or get rid of them, whatever you want. Put them back in the box. That way, the same ones never come up twice. So you should never see the same one twice in a campaign. That's for sure. I have no idea what these are. Oh, these are your goals. So your different characters are going to have a goal. And throughout the course of the campaign, if you achieve your goal, that character can retire and you can start a new one, different race if you've unlocked different classes and things. But these are your different little life goals. Not going to go through those because they're kind of fun to experience as you find them. These are all of our equipment cards, and I know a lot of these start locked and they pop up throughout the campaign, so I'm not going to go through all those, but you have basic equipment. There's boots there on the bottom, and you're going to have different armor, chest armor, rings, necklaces. There's different weapons, shields, things like that in there. All sorts of items, potions, and whatnot that are going to aid you along your way. There's a ton there. I think 130. I don't know if they go in order. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any specific order to them, but what the heck, I'll open them up. I just won't show a whole lot of them here. The whole point of doing an unboxing is to actually open things, right? I'm trying to be good because I know the community around this game is weird about spoilers and things. So, let's see. Yeah, there is a ton. Those are all potions there. Weapons seem to be pretty random. I bet they need to be sorted somehow. I don't know if they're in numerical order. I guess they are. You start at 1 on the bottom. So this stack goes up to 133 different items there. So we're just going to set that whole stack aside. It's probably going to tip over and make a mess. Stay. Nope, there it goes. Broken into 2 piles, that works. Alright, next up we have here, these look like rare items. Yeah, those are special items, so we're not going to go through those. Those I find in like quest rewards or chests or things. These are combat decks. I quickly mentioned earlier about the combat system. There are no dice in Gloomhaven, which is really cool for people who don't like dice-based combat or dice games. And everything is done with these combat cards. And I don't know if these are player ones or monster ones. See, these are all blessings. Those are monsters. So this must be the monster deck. And then there's the blessings and stuff in here. But yeah, every time you do a combat attack, you're going to draw one of these cards, -1 damage. But there's also modifiers you can get to add in there, which is what I saw in the middle here. These ones, now this is a confusing one for a lot of people. A lot of people say this is a miss, and it is not a miss. This is actually a curse card, that's why it's got the little lightning bolts on it. But This is technically not a miss. Everything always hits in Gloomhaven. This is a multiplied by 0. So whatever your damage is, you multiply by 0. So it does no damage. They call it a null card. But it still hits. So if you have like an attack that does poison, it's still going to hit. It's still going to do the poison. It's just not going to do any damage. So things like that you need to keep in mind. On those same notes, there is the blessing cards, which are these ones. And they give you double damage. So it's 2 times whatever your damage is, which is kind of cool. And these ones are temporary. They get put into your deck for various reasons and then pulled back out later. So I think there's a couple different things mixed there. Again, this is all going to have to be separated and whatnot. We got here. These look like these are battle goals. So the little goals you have, you're randomly going to get these at the beginning of each scenario. And then if you achieve this during the scenario, like in this case, have 5 or more total cards in your hand. Discard at the end of the scenario. You're going to get a check mark. Get you one of those perks on your player sheet. You have to get 3 check marks, I think, to get a perk. But that one's kind of neat. There's a whole bunch of those, so they're going to change up. I think you get 2, and then you get to pick one. I can't remember how that works, but yeah, I think you get 2, and you get to pick one at the beginning of each scenario. And they're all different. They all have different things. Some are combat-oriented, some are movement-oriented, some are loot-oriented. They're very interesting. These ones I'm not sure. It's another one of those that I'm not positive on, so I'm not going to open those up and show them because I think they're like new locations and things that open. This looks like more combat cards. I'm trying my best here not to do spoilers. Like I said, the community is really weird how spoilers work for this game. So these look like your player decks, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I bet those are your starting player decks. And then they're going to customize based on the class that you're playing. And then, what do we have here? Monster cards. I actually thought there would be more of these in the base game. They must share decks, because I think there's more creature types in this than Jaws. Well, there seems to be less cards here. So that's kind of strange. Again, my other ones are sleeved. That might be the difference. So each of your creature types in this are going to have a deck of these, and this is basically what they're going to do. So while you're picking your abilities and things, they're going to take whatever their top card is. You're going to flip this over, gives their initiative up here, and then this is what they're going to do. If it doesn't say they move, they don't move. If it doesn't say they attack, they don't attack. And they do whatever the abilities are on there. So in this case, it's only going to sit there, and if you attack it, it's going to counterattack, basically. I got to move there. Now, see, this still attacks, but it's +0, so it's going to be whatever their base attack is. So that will still attack. However, let's see if I can find one that they don't attack. These guys don't have one other than well, that first one I had. This one doesn't have an attack on it, so they're not actually going to attack. It doesn't have a move on it, so they're not going to move. But each character or enemy type has their own little deck here, and there are only 10 cards maybe for each of them. And then they have these. Whenever one of these gets drawn at the end of the round, you're going to shuffle the whole pile back up. But there's quite a stack of those now that I really think about it, when there's only that many per character, or per monster. So those are all your different monster attacks. And at least in the other one, they are unique to creature type, not specific creature. Like there's different slimes, so 3 different, or imps I think were one of them. There's 3 different imps. Each imp would use the same deck of those. They just have different special abilities, which are what are on these cards. These are a cool thing. I love the way they did this. So these are your actual monster cards, and they're double-sided too. Well, they have different things on different sides. But you're going to take, like here we got, oh, the commander. Do we have just a regular guy? Probably on the bottom. There we go. Again, trying not to give away any spoilers or anything, even for basic monster types. But so here we have a viper, and we get these little envelopes, and these are kind of cool. There's different ones of these, like these for the bigger creatures that are only have 6 of at a time, and then you have these ones for the ones that can be up to 10, usually your smaller creatures. And what you're going to do is find out the level of the creature based on the level of the scenario you're doing, which is something like the average level of all the characters by half or something like that. And then these slide in here. It's a tight fit. Prove me wrong here. It doesn't want to go in. I'm not going to force it. But so it limits. So this is all you can see here. So you have your basic one here, your elite one here. They both cause poison. It's their hit points, their movement, their attack value, and range if they have it. If they have any other specials, they're on there. And then as they take damage, you can put your damage tokens on here, or you can set them next to the standee on the table, or whatever, however you're trying to keep track of those. There's apps for that as well. But it's a neat little system, and yeah, that is really stuck in there. Huh. The downside to these envelopes that I don't like is that I tend to sleeve these cards because they get handled a lot. And when you sleeve them, they no longer fit in here. So I'm going to have to come up with some new design for these or something, just an overlay that'll set on top of there. That'll achieve the same purpose without being an issue there. Again, there's an app that keeps track of all this stuff for you, which is really cool. And a lot of people use. And then we're almost done here taking stuff out of the box. We have, oh, these are kind of nifty. A little deluxe there. Wooden tokens for the elements that go on the element board. Again, like I said, we have these big 3D acrylic. Well, they're not big. They're about the same size, but they're 3D acrylic. And they're kind of cool. And those tend to be what we use for our games. But those are much nicer than the cardboard tokens. We'll give them that. And then we have a bunch of our monster bases for the standees. And you have your yellow bases for your elites and the white for your normal monsters. And again, they're nothing special. It's just a cardboard standee, pinches in those little things to stand up. And then, as always with a game, you always want to check under the insert because you never know. And yep, look at that. Open this envelope when you feel you deserve it. Now I'm questioning that, but that was under. I don't know. I always check under my inserts because there's always little hidden things. And that's everything in the box. I noticed a lot of people mentioned this black. I don't know what it is. It's not. I've heard people say it was mildew, but it's not mildew. I think it's actually the black rubbed off the insert onto there, but it's on a couple other things too. It's just very weird. I think it's on the lid of the box too. So very strange, but. That is everything that comes inside the box, and you have this cool map around the outer edge of the box. But yeah, that is everything that comes in the box of Gloomhaven. Let's scroll this up just a hair here. Move this stuff over a little bit. That there. And that is everything that comes in the box of Gloomhaven. There is a ton of stuff in here. You're probably not even going to get to see all of it because your first playthrough, I can't remember how many scenarios there are in the book, but your first playthrough, you're not even going to have all the characters unlocked. You're going to start unlocking things. So you may not unlock all the characters. You may not, you're definitely not going to see all of the different scenarios in the game because as you go through, it kind of branches off and you may not go to certain areas. Some areas unlocked by city events and things, and they may not come up, and you may never find them. So that's something to keep in mind. Trying to think of what else. Certain items are only available in chests throughout the game. If you miss a chest, you may never see that item. So I think, as many people say it's a legacy type game, I think there's a lot of incentive to play multiple times and work your way through and unlock all this stuff. And then you have so much stuff to look forward to, plus all of the add-on content that's coming. I can't wait to get in and start playing through. I only played, I think, 3, 4, maybe 5. I'm trying to guess here. I think I played about 5 scenarios of the Gloomhaven here. Somebody else's copy of the game. Then we went and bought Jaws of the Lion ourselves, and we've been playing through that campaign with our group. The progress is kind of slow, so I am looking forward to getting into Gloomhaven proper here, though. getting a campaign going, working our way through, and also looking forward to picking up these solo scenarios to screw around with the different characters and stuff. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So, anyway, that is a look at everything that comes in the box of Gloomhaven, and there's a ton of it. So keep an eye on the channel. We'll be doing a review video here pretty soon. It won't be that long. So like I said, I have played it before, so I don't, unlike the normal games, I don't have to wait till I play a bunch, because I've already played a bunch of this and Jaws combined. I do want to get a few more games of this specific one in mind, though, because I know some things are different, and I want to get into that before I do the video. But that will be coming, and I got to get all this mess sorted and an insert printed. So I'll probably do a video on my insert solution when that is done. That's going to be a while because it takes a while to print that stuff out. But stay tuned to the channel for that. Of course, Crimson Scales content on the way when that comes as well. So plenty more Gloomhaven stuff on the way. Stay tuned to the channel. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.